All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to talk about something Errol Spence Jr. had to say about where he is ahead of the Terrence Crawford fight in response to something that Roy Jones Jr. said about a 6-round knockout if he's not the same from his car accident. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. We're back at it with another video about this welterweight division. Not too long ago, Roy Jones Jr. made the news explode by saying that by co-signing to a certain extent what James Toney said about a 6-round knockout or won't make it out of 6 rounds, being Errol Spence won't make it out of the 6 rounds. Won't make it out of 6 rounds against Terrence Crawford. Now, before I get into the subject matter of the video, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are a longtime subscriber, supporter of the channel, or even a longtime hater of the channel, whatever, man, it is what it is. I hope you enjoy this video. Now, if you're new to the channel, please accept my invitation to subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release videos. We have videos out on a daily basis. We have live streams we do on a daily basis, and there's always a really good boxing conversation going on. So I hope that you accept my invitation to join the boxing community. We have a really good one, a lot of good conversations. So let's get into this. All right, so Roy Jones Jr. said that if Errol Spence Jr. is not the same after a car accident, that James Toney may be right, that Errol will not make it out of the 6th round against Terrence Crawford. Now, Errol Spence Jr. had said, and this I thought was very, very funny. He admitted that he's not the same after the car accident. He said, "No, man, I'm not the same after the car accident. However, I'm still good enough to beat all of these guys." Right now, here's the thing, man. You would be surprised in life how often you have setbacks and you lose something, but because you lose something, you actually gain something, at the same time. And so as far as Errol Spence Jr. and actually the car accident and whether or not he looks like he's affected by that car accident, I think the question has already been answered in that. And it was something to me that was really, really strange to hear Roy Jones Jr. mention, because the car accident was 2 years ago and 2 fights ago. And in each one of the fights that he's had, he looked better and better. He came back, he beat Danny Garcia after the car accident, right? Then he had the torn retina, which postponed the Manny Pacquiao fight. But then after that, he comes in and he beats Yordenis Ugas, and he beats Yordenis Ugas more convincingly than he had beaten I think more convincingly than he had beaten anybody since Mikey Garcia. And I think it may have been his strongest performance. Like, as far as like a dominating performance, it might have been his most dominating performance since Kell Brook, right? So he actually looked, to me, he looked better than he had before. So when Errol Spence Jr. says, "Yeah, man, I'm not the same as I was before that car accident," I don't know if that necessarily means that's a good thing for anybody getting in the ring with him, because he has changed the way that he behaves significantly. If you see what he looks like, what he's looked like in between fights, in between fights for the entire time, for the entire 2 years since the car accident, I believe over 2 years since the car accident. I think that car accident was correct me if I'm wrong, I think that car accident was in 2019. So if you look at what he's looked like in between each one of those after the car accident and in between each one of those fights, man, that dude he's been absolutely in shape the entire time. So this is now a 2.5-year stretch. This is a solid almost 3-year stretch, or 2.5-year stretch, where he looks like he is in absolutely pristine physical shape versus what he was doing in between the fights that were taking place before the car accident, where you could really see, and you can see these in the pictures that, you know, in a lot of pictures. Look at pictures of him in between fights or at fights when he was like arguing with Terrence Crawford, and how swollen his face looked, and how Terrence Crawford, you know, basically like hit him in the stomach, was like looking kind of big, right? Joked about that with him, right? And then you look at him with how, like when he was arguing back and forth with Gervonta Tank Davis, and they were in that hallway scuffling after the Sean Porter versus Danny Garcia fight, right? Went for the WBC title. Looked significantly bigger in between those fights. But now, as you see him, dude, he's constantly working out. He looks like he is in absolute, you know, pristine physical shape. You see him, you know, putting up videos of him sparring in sparring against a heavyweight, and how active and in shape he looks in that particular sparring event. Now, some people get put a lot of credit, and I got to do this real fast. People often talk about how other guys, or how people are sparring and beating heavyweights. Those guys aren't sparring and beating top-notch heavyweights, right? They are, and this is Errol Spence Jr.'s also his admission, was that, no, man, I spar heavyweights, but, you know, they're just bodies. They're not, you know, I ain't fighting Tyson Fury. I'm not, you know, or his specific words said, they ain't Deontay Wilder. I'm not sparring and beating up Deontay Wilder. That's not, you know, that's not what the case is. So I'm not trying to say that, you know, he's in such tremendous shape and condition that he's beating up heavyweights. But the guy has definitely became a gym rat after that accident. So, you know, there's a very much a chance that he could become a better fighter after that accident than he was before. Now, what could he have lost in that particular instant? I mean, I'm not sure, man. It is very safe to say, and I mean, I do maintain that is the truth, that severe car accident, you know, you're going to still have something on you. However, look, man, when God blesses you, God blesses you. You know, when you get out, when you do not break a bone after being thrown 30 feet in the air, you know, if you don't have any broken bones, torn ligaments, or anything like that, what real damage can you have that will not heal, right? So Roy Jones saying that, and this is something else I wanted to say about what Roy's tone was in all of this discussion about Terrence and Errol. I do believe he's picking Terrence Crawford to win that fight, because he's saying, look, man, Terrence Crawford's a bad man, but he's like, Errol's a pressure cooker. If Errol can get out of those, if Errol can hold his own in the first half of that fight, look, man, we may have a real good fight, right? Not saying that he's picking Errol to win, you know, however, he's not out there saying that this dude's going to run through him. He's just saying that, hey, look, if he's not right off this car accident. However, that car accident was such a long time ago, and Errol has already shown that he's gotten stronger and stronger. He was stronger after the car accident than he was before the accident. I just don't see how that should be much of a concern. And if the fight was to turn out either way, should not be an excuse. It's not an excuse that anybody's going to use. These guys think that they can beat Terrence Crawford. That may be true. That may not be true, right? But, you know, but he does admit, hey, man, I'm not the same that I was, but I'm still better. I'm still better enough to beat the rest of these dudes right now. Again, I don't know if he's being tongue in cheek about it and saying, look, man, I feel better after it. But he did say that he was only 80%. He was only at about 80% for full capacity against Danny Garcia. And I didn't hear him give a number for Yordenis Ugas, but I know he felt like there were some technical things, so I'm not sure if he really thinks he's 100% in that fight. But anyway, it is what it is. We'll see. The fight's going to be what it is as long as these guys accept it and get the business end of it done. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.